Welcome to MentorMe Memorable Moments. Woo! All 5 tenets are in the house tonight. Yes.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
I know. And this is the financial health segment, and I'm your host, Tracy Everett-Duncan, and I've got all the co-hosts with us. Oh, except for Dwayne. Dwayne is on his way, flying up from the south. Actually, he's driving, and he should be here in about half an hour. We're going to squeeze him on in. We want him here, but if for some reason he hits traffic, he's going to be dialing in, so you're going to catch him tonight too. But anyway, let's say hello to
150 nations and all of these United States.
Woo! Welcome. And we're growing.
Welcome.
We are still growing, and we want to thank you all for that. But we got a very special segment tonight. I brought the 5 tenets or broadcasters here because we want to give you an opportunity to see how we work together, or how those 5 health tenets work together. If there's something ailing you or something troubling you in the body or even in your environment, then those 5 tenets are affected, or rather your body is affected by those 5 tenets. And so it's going to take all of the tenets to make you healthy and strong again. So when we look at the 5 tenets of good health, we're talking about good mental, spiritual, social, financial, and physical health, because all the components, as we say in our sizzle reel, they integrate and intertwine, creating a single health tenet. So let the co-hosts introduce themselves to you. We got the mental health professions here, and
Hello.
and she's got a new look.
Oh, yeah, I got a new look.
That's
I'm
Dr.
loving it.
Michelle.
Oh, my
Yes.
gosh.
With Natural Wellness. You know, you can check her out at naturalwellness.com. Is that correct?
Naturalwellness.com.
Okay.
Yes.
We also have our certified health or healing coach.
I'm Felicia Jameson. Let's talk with Felicia. Glad
That's
to be here
right.
tonight.
That's right. And you can reach Felicia at...
You can go to just FeliciaJameson.com.
Okay, all right. So we're telling you now so you can go and connect with us right now. Then we have our physical health coach.
Coach D in the house.
Hey,
Hello, everyone. It's me, your girl, Coach D.
And how can they connect with you now?
They can connect with me right now at on hashtag I am fit.
Yes.
Go onto Twitter, or they can go onto the website, Diani.com.
Okay, all right. And so coming from our social health segment.
Who would that be? No one but me, William Craig 3.
Okay.
And you can reach me at williamcraig3.com.
Okay, all right. And, standing in for Dwayne, Dwayne Ross is also part of that social health too, and he is the facilitator of the Chop Chop. So you can go to Dwayne Ross, is that correct? DwayneRoss.com to connect with him right now. And then we have our special program. This one is the Renaissance Man, Words of Wisdom, Golden Nuggets.
Yes.
Not every day, but every other day. Right? Sir Charles Carey at your service with the Cure series.
All right.
Contact me at sircharlescareyinc.com.
Yes, and you know what? Sir Charles has this fantastic, it's hot, this blab going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to sit in on that blab and maybe even get invited to the hot seat, you can reach Sir Charles on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock.
Thursday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
But in order to get invited, you got to get connected. So we're
right.
all on social media. Yes. And if you missed the websites, we're going to show up the slides at the end of the program. But you can always go to MentorMe411.com. You'll see all of our profiles there. There's an email box. You can send us a message. No one's going to read that message but the person that you send the message to. So tonight, we're going to talk about how do the 5 tenets of good health interact to keep my body well balanced. And so we're going to talk first to make you or help you understand what the 5 tenets have been talking about for this season. So Mike, if you could throw up the first slide, or rather you can go ahead and skip to the second slide, please. When we're looking at the first tenet, that's going to be mental health. So we know that mental health is there's a great number of affected by mental diseases and illnesses, and they're more likely than male counterparts that suffer, because women suffer more.
Right.
They're more likely than the male counterparts to suffer from disabling health conditions such as mental illness, stress, and panic disorders, to name a few. But if you take a look at these disorders, sometimes they require that you have prescriptive medicine written by a doctor, your physician. But the problem is that sometimes that prescriptive medicine works too well, or maybe it doesn't work well enough, and so you find that you have a need for it more than what is prescribed for. And when you have a need for it, then it becomes an abuse. So prescriptive abuse is on the rise,
Yes,
far
it is.
more than any of the illegal drugs out there. And with the prescriptive abuse, there comes the legal abuse, because when your doctor stops writing the scripts for that painkiller, you go out there and you buy heroin, because it's also a painkiller too.
Yeah.
And so we have some problems with that area that we discuss in mental health, but we also look at issues that stem from irrational decisions. Why do you keep making this or doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different outcome? And that's where Dr. Michelle can say a little bit about that in the mental health category.
Because if you continue to write this prescription for me, now I'm addictive, and you have actually taught me this behavior.
Okay.
Exactly. So you have to be very careful with that. When I think of my own story, and I praise God, I never got to a place where I had a doctor that actually prescribed medication, because I was an addictive one. Crack cocaine was my choice of addiction, or choice of drugs at that time. And I thank God that I didn't have to go, but it becomes an addictive behavior. See, and that addictive behavior becomes something that happens in your lifetime and over your lifetime span. So we have to continue to practice that thing that is good and right against our addiction.
I think we
And-
also found that it's become so trendy recently with a lot of our celebrities. as
Yes.
Yeah.
they've
Yes,
gotten
absolutely.
addicted, and,
Yeah.
and we don't want that trend to become something that's, seemingly a leisurely pastime.
Right.
But it does become a leisurely pastime because of the stressors that we take on, and not just Hollywood stars. I mean, we as individual people, it's
Well,
stress.
Look at the stress that's happening out there in social media right now today, with
Yeah.
all the murders and the killings.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
how the nation is slowly being divided. That's a stress. When you're on Facebook and you're reading this constantly, you're
Yeah.
nowhere in that state where this is happening,
Yeah.
but
It's
you
affecting
feel
you.
It's affecting you.
I just had
Exactly.
that same conversation about some of the things that are happening in society today, how the news hammers it, and
Yes.
everyone's temperament and character is different, and everyone can't take that.
And
I
you're
can't-
so
I can't do
unconsciously,
it.
and you become so unconsciously aware of that hammering that you're talking about. Stress after stress, activity after activity is a buildup to the point where now, by the time you go to the doctor, you're handing him your symptoms, and he's writing you a prescription for
right.
that drug because you have handed him those symptoms, and he is just acting on what you've given him. So we got to be very careful of that one.
Yeah, and two, I always say that we ourselves have to be an educated consumer. We have to know our own body.
Yes.
And when we go to the doctors, okay, he gives me this, but do I have to receive what he tells
Right.
me?
Right.
Is there
Right.
another
Challenge him.
alternative?
Challenge
Yes. Is there
him.
another
You can
alternative? Do I
challenge
have
him.
to take this drug? Is there something else
Exactly.
I can do?
Right.
So we just have to be aware and educated.
Unfortunately, most doctors, and we have to be very careful with doing that, because I know I've had opportunities being a naturopathic doctor. The doctor needs a doctor, and I've gone into a doctor's office, and he wrote that prescription
Easily.
and I had to be very cordial and say, I'm not gonna take
Yes.
this, because I've actually had a doctor that told me that, and if you do not subscribe to this, I don't have to treat you, and literally walked out the office.
Wow.
Just left me hanging there,
Wow.
and I was like, okay,
Okay.
that was
One
interesting.
thing
Yeah,
that I
wanted to
would
hear from
share,
Yes.
I think Dr. Michelle just mentioned how we hand them over a list of our symptoms. So I want to back up and talk about symptoms, emotions, thoughts, feelings. A lot of times what we're doing is we want to medicate those thoughts and those feelings instead of receiving counseling, opening up, dealing with the root cause of the issues. And so the first step with that is, no, don't just hand over a list of symptoms and start to get a prescription for that. Begin to deal with those thoughts, talk to somebody, reach out and get help before you just start. Really, it's like masking.
Yeah.
So when you start
Stay in
taking,
control.
so when you start taking prescriptions, and I'm going to say whether it's pain med or Prozac for depression, I'll use those two things. If I just keep taking pain medications, I'm actually masking what's going on in my body.
Always.
Instead of saying, well, let me go and see, is there another procedure that I need to have done? Because pain, it is a symptom, and it is a symptom to let you know that something inside my body is wrong.
That's right.
So
That's
let's
right.
deal from the mental health perspective. When I'm saying I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm anxious, there are things that's connected to that. So
Exactly.
just taking a tablet, a pill, that's masking that instead of
fix it.
saying, what are the real issues that's going on here? And let me break these things down piece by piece. Have some, resolution within myself. And as the first slide that Tracy showed, it said, why do I keep doing these irrational things over and over, expecting a different result? At the beginning of the year, one thing that we did with mental health, we talked about ending toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So when you keep those toxic things and people around you, nothing is changing. So that's part of it.
And excuse me, two things that you just said, two things that you just said is that you have to, number one, want to have resolution. And that's one of the issues that unfortunately people have, is that they don't want resolution. They want a mask. They want a panacea. They want a quick fix. But to actually fix the thing permanently, that takes too much work.
That takes a lot
I don't
of
have
work.
time for that. I got to get up and go to work. I got to take care of my kids.
That's
right.
right. That's right.
That they get used to it. They
Well,
get
most
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And after a while, it becomes a habit. It's like, I'm just used to it. This is
Very
where it's going to be,
complacent.
and I'm okay with it.
Well, it
Instead of
feels
going to
good.
help. Absolutely.
It feels good.
So
People have to learn
pain-
coping skills.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
what it is.
Absolutely.
So
then-
that pain and misery is gone when I
Right.
take it.
That's it.
And then the last part of that is that you talked about toxic relationships, but here's the problem. They don't see their relationship with these drugs as being a toxic relationship.
Exactly.
No.
Okay, so we've got a lot that we said about mental health. Let's move on to the next slide.
So-
That's where all the problems
Sounds
start.
like
That's where the problems start.
Okay. So we are going to talk about social health now. Okay. So social health, we are to be business, social, and family conscious. We are to be aware of our environment and social challenges it poses. And our interactions must demonstrate wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in knowing how to be proficient in subjects that address entrepreneurship, community awareness, and family concepts. So we must create safe environments. In addition to that, we must create safe environments which allows for walls of diverse competition to be lowered. Then and only then will we be empowered.
Are you trying to preach now, Tracy?
Right.
Oh, and I got to give her the.
Well, yes. So, William, say something about that.
At the end of the day, when we look at all of that which ails us, the Bible says it this way.
Yes.
Money answereth all things.
Yes, it does.
So now,
Yeah, it does.
when we say that, though, please don't get put off.
That's right.
Because if I have the capital to access the solution to the problem, guess what? That's a good thing.
Yes.
And unfortunately, many people don't have the capital to access the solutions to their problems. They've got capital to go down the street when they're hungry to the fast food place.
Yes.
But what's the problem there,
Yeah.
Dion? They're going and they're eating something that is really going to
It's
hurt them.
Right,
in
hurt
the
them.
long run.
Absolutely.
So they don't
Long-term.
have the capital access to the capital that will give them access to the real solution for what their body needs. We talk about mental health. Too often you have folks, and I'll speak for Dwayne, who gave us a wonderful example of a mother whose son was getting the beat down
Yes.
in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Right.
But because she said, if I move, I'm going to lose my Section 8.
That's right.
And he said, so
What's more important?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
What's
Exactly.
more important here?
Right.
Because she didn't have access to the capital that could actually get her what she needed, then what happens? She remains in a toxic situation. And I could go on, but I think you see what we're talking about here is that if you have access to the capital that you need, it gives you access to the solutions that you need for that which
But
ails you.
sometimes that backfires because I
Yeah.
can think of a court case right now where there was so much capital or access to the money that was needed that the young guy got off of the charges because he was too rich.
Well,
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
listen. Listen, and here's okay. So I started with the Bible. I will end with the Bible.
Okay.
Wisdom is the principal thing.
Yes, it is.
And all thy getting, get
Get
understanding.
understanding.
So as you get the money, you must have
Yes,
wisdom,
be
and
wise.
you must have an understanding
That's
on how
right.
to use the money.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
I think we're as a nation, we're so off kilter. It's just
Yes.
ridiculous on
Yes.
so many
Yes.
different angles, or from so many different perspectives. You know, our moral ground is challenging. You know, our economic ground is challenging. You know, and it's just sad. We're supposed to be one of the strongest, smartest, richest, and not necessarily just financial nations in the world, and we have all of these challenges. And I think we have the world watching us.
Well, look what they said to Senator, I cannot remember his name, that went over to China. And China said, how are you going to come over here and
Yeah.
try and
Yes.
tell
Senator
us
Kerry.
Right, when you-
our issues,
right.
and you, the
You don't
United
even-
States, have bigger issues.
Right, have bigger issues.
Get home in order.
That's
Yes.
right.
Right.
Go and
Exactly.
That's right.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. So then let's move on to financial health. Okay, that's me. All right. I love money. Okay, so in order for any individual or group of people to progress, comprehensive teaching, practical approach, and fundamental understanding of financial planning is inevitable. Money management concepts are designed to help people to take charge of their finances and set realistic financial goals. After all, 1 + 1 does not always equal 2. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But also, our commerce is changing country by country and incident by incident. We must be smart about our spending. It only makes sense. So when I say 1 + 1 does not always equal 2, I had an educator, a teacher, pose that to me. Tracy, how much does 1 + 1 equal? And I said, well, that equals 2. She said, no. When you have a father and you have a mother and they give birth to a child, that is now 3. And I said, oh, yeah, you're right. And so our math doesn't really add up, okay? And so
good.
we are looking at how to manage just basic
more exacts.
fundamental. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because then when 1 + 1 equals 3 or more, then you've got a household that is it sufficient enough to take care of itself financially?
Yeah.
If not, then does it become a burden to the local municipalities, the state, the federal, you know?
And the community.
And in the community,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, so if you don't have an understanding of economics, just basic money management, when I have a family, whether it's just a wife only, or wife with children, or wife with children, and I'm taking care of my parents, when I have all of this to take care of, am I making enough dollars to make sense?
But Tracy, don't they teach that in our schools today?
No. You have to get a special grant if you want to teach it in the schools.
Absolutely.
Isn't that
Absolutely.
ridiculous?
Yes.
That should be basic principles that's taught, not if it's missed in the elementary schools, and it ought to be taught in the middle or the high schools,
Definitely
definitely
high school.
the colleges.
Right.
You know, when
Yeah.
you're coming out of college and you're in debt, what do?
Right.
Selling
Money.
drugs is
But,
not
but
an
here we
option.
go.
Right,
Money
exactly.
management
But here we go. If
matters.
it's taught earlier, then there would be no need to come out of college in debt.
Okay, that's
Because
right.
So true.
during
So
high
true.
school,
Yes.
most kids can start working at 15 and a half, 16 years old. And so if you consider from that point to their second year in college, they could have a pretty good chunk of change to take care of themselves, as well as what the principles that you just talked about to know how to go forward in life.
That's true.
Right.
Teach
That is
them how
true.
to teach them how to understand what money is for and what money does and what the benefits of money is. You know, because the Bible tells us the love of money is evil.
Yes.
Okay, so we
But they
don't
have no vision
and,
either.
and
right?
they don't have
so
so
without
have a vision.
Yeah.
People perish.
perish.
Make it
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So yeah,
Right,
make
right,
it plain.
right.
So
And you got to be a giver. You can't have money
yeah,
like this.
no.
tight-fisted.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
You've got to be able to give when you see the street artists,
Yeah.
you know, even you got a couple of coins, just
Yeah.
give
Give
it
it.
to them,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it will come. It will come.
Yes.
It will come
Yes,
back
it's
to
a
you.
it's a spiritual
Yes, yes.
principle. It will come back.
This is my segment.
I think another huge
Yeah, that's
takeaway
a-
will be
that's
for
a-
all these like athletes and celebrity wannabes and musician wannabes. They would learn how to manage themselves
That's
a lot
right.
better versus getting a little
Absolutely,
taste of
absolutely.
change,
Wasn't Prince
being taken advantage of.
Yeah, he's the epitome of
Yes.
his money management. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. He set his
Have your
own. I
affairs
mean,
in
he
order.
changed the game.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
Yes.
Because
Folks
I
need to
can
come
think
on
of so many artists out there that went bankrupt because they were trusting their
Exactly.
business managers to
Sure.
run their finances. They didn't even want to pick up the 1040 and read it. Come on
Right,
now.
right.
Oh my! Oh, you know what? Let me stop and move on.
Breathe, Tracy, breathe.
Money is energy. Let's move on.
Well, and speaking of energy,
I wish you had some more
That's
energy around this.
we're going to physical health.
Right. Let's shift that energy.
So we know that healthy living is a viable nutrition exercise program that everyone should incorporate into their daily lives.
Yes, indeed.
What we eat definitely affects our productivity. Does the food we eat contain toxins? Then purge. Are we getting enough exercise or rest? See a doctor or hire a health coach. But also, what about environmental dangers that require us to protect ourselves, home and property? You know what, Dion,
Yes.
we did a program last season in our physical health segment where the facilitator at that time was telling us about someone she knew who was being harassed by a gentleman that she did not know that followed her from one restaurant to another restaurant and stalked her when she left the last restaurant to her car. And he put his hands on her to grab her. She had her keys in her hand.
Yes,
And-
weapon.
yeah, and then went back to shove him off, and that weapon went into his eye.
Okay.
And she got arrested. She got charged. She got
no.
sentenced, and she got out in, I think, about a year or two, and was told that you are on probation, but if another incident happens, you're going to do the rest of your time behind jail. So these are environmental factors that are affecting us as well, and they're disturbing our physical health.
Yes.
She was
Oh my
protecting
gosh,
herself.
she was
Yeah,
protecting
exactly.
She was
herself.
protecting herself.
But we look at the toxins.
Yes.
And we know that you talked about the toxins.
So the toxins, as far as like the foods we eat, we know we eat the foods, we know they're supposed to be nutritious for us, but we need to find out what foods we should be eating. Is organic the best type of food we should be eating? What about the natural foods?
Is there
What about
such a
those
thing?
packaged foods? What about the frozen foods?
Right.
Yes.
I always tell my clients, potential clients, you have to be the educator. You have to be smart about what you eat. Read the labeling. It's important.
Right.
Read the labeling. You need to know what you're putting in your own body. So I tell you to take charge of your health, your
Okay.
heart, your life.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So it's preference. If organic works for you and you can afford organic, get organic. If organic is not the pantry, if the pantry is what works for me, go to the pantry, but you find out how to prepare those foods in a healthy manner.
Yes.
To prepare them in a healthy manner. So there are toxins, but how can we get rid of those toxins? I know, Dr. Michelle, this is probably your area about the natural cleansing, but cleansing. Do a
Absolutely.
cleanse.
Do a
And I do
cleanse.
a seasonal cleanse. I can only talk about me. Do a seasonal cleanse. And I mean every 4 months to get those toxins out of your
yeah.
body.
Per the
And if you're
season.
not
She's
moving
saying it right.
By the season.
Per the season.
Do a cleanse. And you choose the cleanse that's right for your body.
Right.
But those toxins, you can, if you're not moving, like you put food in, food must come out.
It must-
Because
And
right.
if you're not moving those foods out,
Then you're stuck.
and if you're not
Garbage
moving
in,
those foods, so if you
garbage
eat
out.
3-4 times a day,
Then it's
and
in
you're
there.
not moving it out 2 to 3 times a
It's
day,
stuck.
toxins
Tell
are
'em.
building up.
Right.
Stuck.
Right.
In your body, stuck.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you must drink your water, exercise.
Okay.
Let's
And
keep
I
it
want you
moving.
to move it.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
What about kombucha? Are you familiar with kombucha?
Kombucha.
I like it.
Kombucha.
So tell me about kombucha. Is that a
It's supposed to be a
A
natural
mushroom.
beverage.
okay?
Doesn't taste
it's
very
mushroom.
tasty, but it's good for
So
your
wait a minute,
digestive.
wait a minute.
It's
No,
a
you're talking about the
mushroom.
ones I find in the supermarket, and it's the different types of beverages. Like you have
Right.
kombucha, but it's
Yes.
different.
Right.
I love those.
Yeah,
Supposed to
yeah,
help
yeah.
the
mushroom,
intestines.
sir.
It's
Yes,
Supposed to
yes,
help the
yes.
intestines.
It's a-
Yeah.
it's
I
a
have a
mushroom.
friend who,
I didn't know that.
she has cancer and breast cancer. She started on the natural path. She was drinking the kombucha, and did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hope so.
Fermented.
And she's drinking it. She's doing all of the organic. She's eating the healthy foods. She saw a change in her the overall chemistry of her body with the cancer and being on chemotherapy. And she got off of it. And she was exercising. I made sure she was getting in there because exercise. I'm reading articles. Doing my own research. Exercise it's a medicine. It gives you that natural high. It makes you feel good. And I always say exercise is good for the body.
Okay.
So do the exercise. But it's not just, hold this for me, please, if you don't mind. Exercise along with getting the rest,
Right.
reducing the stress, seeing your doctor, and
Yes.
just overall being positive even in a negative society. All of that helps. So back to her with all of that, she saw the improvements in her body.
Right.
But then she kind of, sometimes we do fall off,
Sure.
Right.
and then she saw the negative effects of it.
Wow.
She saw probably a cell chemical change.
She went back to the doctor, and she called
That's
it
right.
the
It's all
seed
about
was
the
coming back.
cells.
Yes.
It's all
It was
about the
coming
cells.
back.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and I have a client. It's not my client, but a friend of mine. Client. He has Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
Exercise is helping him.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen 4 years. This guy, the improvement
Wow.
Yeah.
with exercise. So I know I got a little off focus, but toxins, exercise, all the nutrition, the stresses. Get those out of your body and move it.
That's interesting because most people who are diagnosed with an illness,
Yes.
they tend to just kind of fade into a corner,
Become
sit, don't want
sedentary.
Away from
Yeah,
it. Yes,
exactly. They don't want to
yes.
do anything. But you're saying that when you get that diagnosis, live.
Yeah.
Fight it.
Yes.
Live.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to live. I always say that. I would make sure I get it all together. I have to eat to live. No longer living to eat.
Right.
Because you're eating whatever now. But
Right.
when I know I'm eating to live, that's when I have to make sure I'm not putting those, and I'm not knocking anybody or whatever your diets are, but I know what I'm putting in this temple, this vessel.
Right.
I'm not putting those simple complex in my body, or
Right.
those
Right.
donuts, those sugary
Right.
yogurts, which is really, guys, read labels. Read
Right.
labels.
Right.
If it's stuff in there that you don't truly understand, do you need to buy it?
No.
Okay, and if you say, well, this is all I can afford, then eat it in moderation. You know, a nutritionist, and I'm not a nutritionist, but I listen to the ones, this is their area of expertise, then you just eat it in smaller portions. Don't eat the whole container,
Right.
you know? So that's the whole thing I tell you, that eat to live.
And,
So-
and you have
so
to be
we-
so careful, even with things that look like it's good for you.
Absolutely.
I will not call the name brand out, but it's a
Absolutely.
juice that it looks like it's got all this natural stuff in
stop
it,
playing.
but
Really?
then
But be
Many.
cautious about
it's
natural.
so much sugar
Right.
in it.
Absolutely.
It's high
Right,
contents of
right.
sugar in it.
Absolutely. So I say with you, don't just look at the front of the package, turn around, look at the back of the package.
I tell people that they have to be willing to participate in their own rescue.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line. I
It's
mean,
call bio-individuality.
there you
love
go.
it.
That's
Like-
what we want to call that. And we want to change that word diet to let's eat nutritionally.
I don't say diet.
And we want
Absolutely.
to also and so far as pulling the juices off the shelf. Well, what's wrong
Absolutely.
with the fruits and vegetables that you get off in the grocery stores?
Right.
Why aren't we juicing them?
Oh, yeah.
where there are
Right.
natural sugars and natural
Natural
sweeteners.
sugars
Live
are
And
food.
you're
No added
absolutely
sugar.
right, Dion, in terms of eating in proportion. So
Yes.
why can't we just eat enough where we can hold in the palm of our hands? Because see, the body knows exactly what it's requiring. It
Yes.
knows exactly what it needs.
But we need
And
to know
when
our
you
bodies
get-
to know what is required.
Exactly. So how about we find out about our body types?
Yes.
How about if we find out about our blood types so that we can know exactly what our body needs? Because I'm going to say it again. The body knows exactly what it needs. Food matters. And we need to have our foods because foods are also our medicine.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
We could go on and on in
can.
physical health.
Good stuff.
But, you know,
Yes.
I want to save the last tenet for after Sir Charles's discussion because he is our special program. And I'm glad he is on board with us because, you know, Sir Charles, the brain has been so interesting lately for me. I'm fascinated by it because it can rejuvenate itself in 30,
Yes, it can.
60 days, you know. So to me, that tells me that a client that I may have that is addicted to drugs, or prescription drugs,
Right.
illegal drugs, whatever, they have a chance at restoring the brain,
Yes.
but you have the cure for the brain.
The cure for your business
Your-
and existence.
Okay, so let's hear from you on
good.
this.
Well, the thing that I like about, first of all, being here, at first it was great meeting everyone all at one time. But everyone's specialty and everyone's topic is like so complementary
Yes.
to the other. And that's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I'm in a great space, you know? This is really good. But I think that what I bring to the table, it also complements everyone else's point and area of expertise because being willing to participate in your own rescue is a huge part of it. However, you have to learn how to listen to your body.
Yes.
Not just for
Yes.
health purposes, but also just for daily living.
Absolutely.
For instance, we have so much pain in the world today. And what I'm trying to focus on is like, if you don't know what your purpose is, you have to learn how to listen to your body. How do you listen to your body? Well, first thing is being still.
Yep, that's
Be
right.
Yes,
still.
indeed.
Still.
Be
Tweet
Once
that.
you're
Yes,
still,
Be
Still.
Be still.
that will open up so many doors and so much creativity. But if you're not still, you know, you miss it. All that, as Bruce Lee said in this movie, you'll miss all that heavenly glory. You will actually miss all of that heavenly glory because your gift is so special for you. And even if it's the same as someone else's, you know, someone's waiting to hear your story
That's right.
the way
Don't be
you
ashamed.
present it. You know, and your gift, whatever that thing may be, whatever
Yes.
industry, whatever profession, everyone has something special. And I believe with all my heart, all the violence, all the problems the world is suffering today, if people were able to really know what they were designed for, we would be living in an entirely
That's
different
right.
world.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's right.
I call it being aligned where you're designed, literally.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
When you're aligned where you're designed, stress goes way down.
Sure does.
Why? Because you're where you're supposed to be.
That's right.
Happiness, you can't even measure it because you're where you're designed to be.
Be in the moment.
Absolutely.
And in the present
And it goes
at all
back
times.
to social health where if I know that this is my lane
Yes.
and I'm
Yes.
staying in my lane
Stay
and
there.
I'm not threatened by your lane at
Right.
all,
Absolutely.
then those
Right.
walls of competition come down and we're able now to interact a little bit better than me, you know, wondering, are you trying to steal my lane?
Right,
You know?
right.
If we can all just grasp hold of that, what you just said, beautiful. It would just
There's
be beautiful.
enough for everyone. And
Yes,
even
it
if we
is.
all,
Yes, it is.
if every one of us here was in the same profession, same industry, we would all present that information just a bit differently.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
So
Yes.
it's kind of like the example of a hamburger stand.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we were to go and travel 5 miles from where we are right now, how many different places would we pass that serve hamburgers?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
each of them serve the hamburgers a different way.
Absolutely.
So
wise.
there's room for all of them.
You mean I can't get pickles at every hamburger stand?
And what type of pickles?
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
And you know, when you started out, you said that we need to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
Be still and listen.
Yes.
But also, we need to listen to each other.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so when we're listening to ourselves, then we can tear down some of those walls and divisions when we can start to listen to each other and seek to understand.
Yeah.
Seek to understand,
Seek to
then to be
understand.
understood.
That's right.
Okay.
Challenge. Part of growing up was about watching the young ladies, as it was on my block, jump double dutch.
Oh, okay.
Anybody remember double
Yes.
dutch?
Yes.
So what would happen? You'd have one person on this end, the other person on the other
Right.
end, and they have these
Turn
ropes,
it, yeah.
and they're turning the ropes.
Turn the
and
double ropes.
The double ropes.
Yes.
And what was the posture? The posture for the person getting ready.
That's
Right.
right.
Before.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That is that
That's
guy.
right.
But here's the problem. For many of us, this is how we approach our conversations, our relationships. We're just jockeying, waiting for our turn to
Yeah.
jump in,
Yeah.
as opposed to having an understanding of who that person is,
Exactly.
which
Yes.
is what leads to these toxic relationships.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Who we are, which leads to our unhealthy behaviors,
That's
right? And never having the fulfillment then.
Exactly.
Because why? Because we're just jockeying, waiting for our turn, never really seeking to understand.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's get to the
That's
next
good,
slide.
William.
The last
Yeah.
one is spiritual health. And when we look at spiritual health, people say this world is going to hell in a handbasket.
I think they sold a handbag.
We must be connected
And they
to
living
a
in their
faith.
own hell.
We must be connected to a faith. It
Oh,
is what
Lord.
sustains us during trying times. So God endowed each of us with spiritual gifts and talents to be
Yes.
used for the edification of the church, which is the body. Circumstances, trials, testing, temptation, encounters, whatever you want to call it, they're here to stay. To stay, to challenge and develop us personally and professionally. The wilderness experience is not a time to retreat. It's a time to stay connected. I need every one of you here.
Yeah.
When I'm going through my stuff, I need to be able to
Yes.
reach out to you and
Right.
let you know what's happening with me, because
Absolutely.
I need somebody to care about me.
Yeah.
Right.
If I don't, mental health's going to happen first. Well, actually, social health, because I'm going to
Right, gonna
withdraw.
withdraw.
Right,
Withdraw.
withdraw.
Or you're gonna
You're
act
gonna
in a way
withdraw.
in which we hope you would withdraw.
Well, no, actually, it does start with mental health because it's the thought 1st. It's the thought first.
Thoughts
and then
brings
it's spoke,
action.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Then
right.
it's
Where the head
spoke.
goes, the
Absolutely.
And
body
then that
flows.
manifestation. So it's the thought, the spoke, and then the manifestation.
So what we have done is we've got 3 questions we're going to try and get through before the end of our program.
Okay.
And we're going to show you how, if we were taking on a client or taking on a circumstance, how we would interact in order to get that individual healthy again. So if you could throw up the first question for us, please. An individual has been diagnosed with an addiction. How does the 5 tenets of good health help to identify a treatment? So any one of you want to jump in there first?
Well, one of the first things I probably would do is look at the family and look at that person's experiences. You know, what was your family life like? What has been your understanding of love and family? I would look at that first. That would be one of the first things I would think about.
I think
Okay.
that's very important in addition to assessing what their situations like work life, are their family enablers, do they work, what are their extracurricular activities, where are they going in life, do they have any goals, are they running a business, things of that nature. You know, I always say there's nothing in life is singular, everything is compounded. So those are a couple of very important things to look at.
Oh,
And then I
yes.
would
Oh, yes.
I would probably go back to their childhood, go back to see what happened on parents' side. How was that life living there? Then I would probably go back to grandparents. So we would probably go back all the way up to the family tree as far as we can remember and look at the behavior from there.
And so let before I jump in, let me let you know our certified healing coach has a tool that she uses, that she goes through, and it's like an assessment test
Right.
that you take. You want to tell us a little bit about
so that
that?
assessment test, it will ask you, I think it's about 100 questions, and when you finish, it was designed by Dr. Richard P. Johnson, and you will take that test and it begins to tell you what your spiritual strengths are. And it begins to show you, for instance, peace may be one of your strengths, but if you're going through a problem, contention and confusion will try to come in your life, and it's all to pull you away from the great strength that's in your life.
So it helps you identify those really deep-seated issues or things that maybe you not have ever been aware of. It brings all of that out. So that's a tool that our healing coach uses. But also, Dr. Michelle has a tool that's called perception reframing, and she's been on this program and has talked about it a couple of times. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and the perception reframing shows us, and we talked about being stuck. And so we found out that a lot of the emotions that we go through are stuck in the tissue. So what the Evox device will do, it will look at your transgenerational, or it will look at specific situations that you are going through, and it will pinpoint the emotion that you're experiencing. Good versus bad, positive versus negative. So whatever emotion that you're experiencing, it will register. We get a register from the brain perspective, so that when we find that emotion, and we do find the emotion, it will allow us to see where you're stuck in that emotion, both mentally and physically, and how it plays an impact on your health. So that's what that does.
I think Dion wanted to chime in.
Oh, I was saying this is good. This is good stuff. I'm like, wow, the stuck. This is awesome. Well, one thing that I know I would do with a client is picking back on everything that you guys have said. Is something that I would do as well, is find out the root of the issue, and find out, how is your overall day. Tell me about your day from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. Tell me about that day, and then we'll work from there on what exercise prescription that I can write for you, that's specifically for you.
And if you missed Coach Dion's program, you can catch that. I think it was last month, where she went into great detail about what she does, the approach she takes when she is picking up a client, the detailed documentation that she gathers on that particular individual, and partnering with the person's health coach.
With their doctors, their health coach, their doctors, because we need to work together in a team. Because what you're going through, your doctor is working with you, and then me, as I'm not a doctor, but I'm a doctor, exercise, so that we're on the same page and making sure that you're getting everything that you need to make you better.
Even when somebody's depressed, their
Absolutely.
serotonin levels go
Yeah.
down.
Absolutely.
So with an exercise,
That's right.
That's right.
It brings it back up.
That's right.
That's
Right.
And I would say for me that's a drug for me. Exercising is a drug. I was having a conversation with
Endorphins.
Felicia. Yes. I was having a conversation with Felicia on the
Yeah.
way here. And I was like, sometimes I work out 3 times a day. Sometimes, not every day, because you have to know your body. You can over exercise and you
Maintain
do
a balance.
for them the 3 classes and your antics with it.
Okay, so 6 a.m. I take a body combat course. I take this course, all right? That's an hour.
Do it
And
the
then
way you did it.
Okay, body combat, right?
Okay.
And then at lunchtime I did a class, and then at 6 o'clock I was like, okay, I should be going home. I'm telling my husband I'm on my way home, but then I looked and I said, Zumba. So then
And wasn't the other one a belly dance or
it was,
something?
yeah. So it was actually it was. I told you belly dancing, but it wasn't a belly dance. It was just a body movement class. So I did some days, twice a week. I sometimes exercise 3 times.
Okay. So
That's my drug.
okay,
That's your
but that's
drug.
how you
Okay.
would approach this client as well.
Absolutely.
And I think for me, the first piece is understanding how you want to show up, because from a social health standpoint,
Yes.
that's very important. How do you want to show up when you wake up in the morning, when you get out?
Wow.
And how do you want people to see you? Well, let's take a look at what your tags are. What are your tags? Your talents, abilities, gifts, and skills. And then take a look at what we can use, how we can use the experiences that you have to monetize them, quite honestly.
Right.
And once we learn how to monetize them in a way that's comfortable for you, well, man, we got a prescription for success.
Sounds
I
like
like
you're
that,
sounds
yes.
like you're recreating all the time. And I like that.
Okay.
Because you'll find that,
it's recreating all the time.
as William said, find out what their tags are. Many times people are medicating because they're not where they're aligned
That's
or
right.
designed to be.
That's
No,
right.
They're not
absolutely
aligned
not.
where they're designed. So that
Yeah.
goes back to that pain, that discomfort, that
depressed.
emptiness, that depression. It goes right back to that same issue.
Anger,
Okay.
frustration.
Oh, all of that, yes.
And doing the same things over and over and over and again,
Expecting.
different results.
You got it.
Okay, so
Pain.
then when we're looking, your
Aggravated
client
nerves.
is going to eventually come to me.
Yes.
Because that addiction has taken them into some debt.
Right.
Okay? And so we need to get them out of this debt. And so there are a lot of tools, a lot of things that I can use to first start with, okay, how deeply in debt are you?
Right.
Okay? And being able to get that vision, like you mentioned, you got to see yourself coming out of this debt as
Yes.
well. But
That's
there are a
right.
lot of tools that I use that will help the clients be free as well. But I need to understand what got them in the debt in the first place.
Right,
What got them in
right.
the drugs in the first
Right.
place.
Yes.
Because I can get you out. Believe me,
Yeah.
I got a lot of people I can get you to talk to that will get you out. But once you come out, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Are you going to go back in? You gonna move-
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I think we have Dwayne on call. Did you dial in, Dwayne?
I have dialed in.
There
How y'all doing?
Good.
Great,
Okay,
great.
well, you know what? We've got a couple of minutes. We're going to go through this next question very quickly. So, let's say I'm under a great deal of stress with no relief. How is this impacting my body, and what can I do to get immediate relief? So, Dwayne, since you're joining us, from a social health
Eat
perspective,
healthy, eat.
and someone walks up to you and they say that they're under a great deal of stress with no relief, and how is this impacting their body, and how can they get immediate relief? What would be your response as that social health guru?
The first thing I could say is that I'm going to ask them a few more questions, because a lot of times people are under stress because they put their bodies under certain circumstances. They're not getting enough water in their body. They're not getting enough sleep. We found that if you can hydrate and get the right sleep, a lot of the stress that you're under can be better managed, because even though you have a lot of things coming at you all through the day, it's how your body is already positioned to be able to receive. So if they're getting no rest, now their bodies are tired. They're not recognizing their social triggers. Things like that will happen, and then when something like a stressful moment shows up, it gets they get overloaded with it.
I like that.
I like
social triggers.
Social
That's a new
triggers.
word.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
good
I
one
like
there.
that.
Got a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
them going on
social
now.
triggers is a lot of different things happening. You get a person who can say, "Hey, how you doing?" and they say it one way, and depending on your stress level and how you feel today, you may not, you're like, "Oh, I'm doing good." But if somebody says the same exact word in the same exact way, but you're stressed out, you haven't slept, you have different things going on with your body, you're going to be like, "What? What's the problem? What's happening?" You start reacting
Right.
instead of responding. So we have to help people respond to their life and the things that's going on and not react. Another thing is, by asking questions, I'm not going to just give them solutions either. I'm going to see what solutions they have for themselves. Because I might ask them, "Okay, you're feeling this way. What have you done so far?" And a lot of times they'll say, "Well, I tried this, and I've been doing this, and I had to have my coffee." And then I might say, "Well, does coffee really make that difference? Because maybe you don't need any coffee at all."
Right,
You know?
right.
So there's
right.
all these different things, and then again, how people look at their world. I believe one of the things that we have to really look at in social health is how people are looking at the world right now. If you're listening to the news and that's negative, and you're listening to your best friend who's having a problem, that's negative, and you're walking into all kinds of situations because the meeting is scheduled a certain way, and all those different things are stressors. And now you're expected to, participate at a high level. I think all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. So, yeah, you're going to walk into this, moment. Maybe it's right there at the gas station, and you're going to have a mental explosion.
Okay, all right. So, I want Sir Charles to chime in on that.
Well, I think I have to agree with what he's saying, because everyone's triggers are different. Everyone's temperament is different. Sometimes people don't realize, what it is that makes them how they are, not who they are, but how they are. And in knowing how you are, what your triggers are, what stimuli you respond to or don't respond to, that is hugely a big deal, a big part of the process. You know, in order for you to know how to deal with your stress, maybe you really need to get off of social media.
Yes.
For example, you know, sometimes digress just because you need to regroup, recharge your battery, and be prepared to deal with whatever tensions, whatever stresses, and it's just real. That's just very real.
I think you wanted to say something.
I was just saying that with the social trigger, that is a major one, and it is a person's emotional makeup and their background and their life experiences. And when you don't, the more you get to know a person, you can understand why they're responding that way. So, absolutely.
And I want to comment on the impact that it has on the body. If you do not, more and more people today are not getting in the bed before 10 o'clock. You got to get in the bed because you got to get that sleep.
You do.
Sleep is so important for these bodies. You know, we have to, in our sleep, if we don't get down to that fourth stage of sleep,
Right.
the body
Right.
is, you are robbing
That's right.
the body to
REM,
repair itself,
rapid eye
restore itself. And don't eat late at night because
Okay.
the body is still active. You know, when you causing the digestive system to keep going, which is can be very stressful.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Don't
right.
So
sleep
things
with
like
the TV on.
Right, don't
That's
sleep with the
right.
tongue.
That's
Move
right.
the phone
Guilty.
away from the
People
pillow.
sleeping, so you
Turn the lights out.
Absolutely.
Turn the shades out. Turn
Get
the
to keep the
television out.
environment.
Get all the lights
Teddy
out
had
of the
right-
room.
right
I just
ideas
thought
in
the
there.
same
Turn
thing.
off the
Sleep.
lights.
Sleep, sleep, sleep.
And light a candle.
Okay, all right.
The store.
Okay, so you know we're wrapping up this hour now.
Yes. Oh, we need
So
more
that-
time.
I want to hear from William, and then I have something special that I want to give to each of you. So,
Okay.
William, I think we've got maybe 3 minutes left. If you could share on that topic.
What was the topic again?
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I always fall for it.
Listen, at the
Oh,
end of
look.
the day, you gotta remember.
Oh.
Here
Okay, all right.
Listen, part of the issue is, and it's something that Dwayne talked about when he spoke about figuring out how you are reacting to the things that are going on around you. And so for me, before we even look at all these things, like I said, one of the things that we're going to talk about is where you are and where you want to be. That's for me, that's just key.
Mindfulness.
Because that's my goal. I'm here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. So we're going to examine where you are. We're going to take a look at all the things that are going on a daily basis, how you're responding, how you're able to respond, but how you like to respond. And then we'll start there and take a look at what those toxic relationships are. Is it a toxic relationship in the home, outside the home, in the medicine
Work.
cabinet?
Work.
The alcohol bottle. Is there a toxic relationship that's toxic that you don't realize is toxic?
That's right. That's right.
That's
Yes,
right.
that's right.
You know, my ice cream is my best friend. No, it's not.
Oh,
Not
no.
It's your
when
worst
you
friend.
devour
That's
it
right.
all at one time.
There's no nutrients
we'll go
there.
through all of those to help you get where you want to be.
Okay, so I know we're coming up on the hour. So Mike, I left my bag of gifts back there. If you could grab that
I
for me,
like
please. Yeah, I was out shopping and I was looking for something for me, and I said, well, you know what? Dwayne says that. Well, that's Dr. Michelle, and I've heard Coach Felicia say that, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and grab these gifts and wrap them up and get them to you all. So, you know, while we're
The giver.
that is.
is.
I
You
am.
are the
I am a
giver.
giver. I am a giver. So
She's the
please,
giver.
and you can go ahead and open them up. I just want to say I appreciate everything
We
that
appreciate
each
you.
one of
Thank you so much.
does for me.
We open them now.
You can open them now.
Watch us.
And I hope you love them as much as I love you.
Christmas in July.
Scripture.
Woo! Yes.
Favorite.
For
Mine
your
says,
next
"I can do
book,
all
for your
things
thoughts.
through Christ who gives me strength."
Strength. That's you. And that one is.
This is
Isn't that nice?
Okay.
be generous.
I love it.
And then
And because it says chances, be listeners take chances, sing in the rain, because your book
I love
moment,
this.
I have
Love
coffee.
is patient, love is
All
kind.
unique for
because
each
you're my
and every
flower
one of
child.
us.
Yes.
Nice.
And what was yours?
Mine says, break away from the ordinary, have an adventure, embrace the journey.
you.
It's
That's
all about
you.
the journey, yes.
All right, so I'm looking at this and I'm going, they just speaking to my head here. Discover your passion. Take chances and be bold. Enjoy the little things. This is your time.
And William,
I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you.
a plan. And you know what book I picked up? It's in my purse. I didn't grab it out, but it has one word: right. So this
know that's
kind of
right.
concludes
See,
our
we got-
program.
I know for me, only certain things can be written in this book. This is not an everyday book.
Exactly.
Right, it's not
Exactly.
special. This is
Exactly.
I thank you so
Exactly
much.
right.
Thank you, Tracy.
Well,
We love you, Ted.
I love the heck out of y'all.
Thank you.
And I love you too. We love you too. We enjoy doing this program, and we're coming back next week with Coach D in the physical health segment. So between now and then, we want you to be safe, be smart, be healthy. Bye-bye.
Well, I wear my clothes like this because I can. And I wear my hair like this because I can. And I walk around like this because I can. And I do my thing like this because it's who I am. And if you're expecting me to give you an apology for being nothing that you're used to, go right on ahead and wait. Hold your breath and concentrate. Keep holding to your base. Turn blue. My road ain't your road, but just I know just where I'm going. My flow ain't your flow, but just I know just how I'm flowing. I'ma do my thing. Please feel free to hate and complain. Said I'ma do my thing. Say what you want, but this one ain't gonna change. I'ma do my thing. I can't wear my clothes like you because I'm not. I can't do my hair like you because I'm not. I can't walk around like you because I'm not. I can't do my thing like you, well it just ain't hot. And if you're expecting me to give you an apology for being nothing like you used to, go right on and head away. Hold your breath and concentrate. Keep holding till your face turns blue. See my road, it ain't your road, but trust I know just where I'm going. In my flow, it ain't your flow, but trust I know just how I'm flowing. I'ma do my thing. So please feel free to hate and complain, 'cause I'ma do my thing. And say what you like, 'cause this one ain't gonna change. I'ma do my thing. You don't know where I'm going, and so you think I'm lost. I ain't on your page, okay? So to you that means I'm off. When I dance to the beat of a drum and you don't hit and you dance it. So if I look off beat to you, well the problem must be you, not me. Irregular, but never irrelevant.